This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The Pentagon's battle against COVID-19 vaccine holdouts is headed for the courtroom. While the big question centers on whether the U.S. military has overstepped its legal authority by ordering all service members to be vaccinated, Pentagon correspondent Ben Wolfgang reports the battle is expected to play out across several fronts over the coming weeks and months. Active duty coronavirus vaccination deadlines for each military service went by weeks ago. With thousands of service members still refusing immunization, the Marine Corps, Army, Navy, and Air Force are now faced with kicking out the unvaccinated. Army Public Affairs has indicated the Pentagon will start removing unvaccinated soldiers beginning in January. Staying with the DoD, Ben reports the Pentagon's new anti-extremism crackdown on troops' social media activity is also targeting what the brass considers unacceptable elsewhere in a service member's life. Defense Department guidance released last week offers new definitions for what constitutes active participation by military personnel in a hate group or extremist organization. The most noteworthy updates center on social media, with troops now potentially facing consequences if they share, like, or otherwise amplify hateful messages on Facebook, Twitter, or elsewhere. The Pentagon has pushed back against criticism of the policy. Military officials have stressed the effort has nothing to do with politics and is instead aimed at identifying service members who might be willing to take part in violent uprisings, such as the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol, in which numerous active duty troops and veterans participated. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle ramped up tough on China rhetoric this year and introduced a slew of bills aimed at reducing U.S. reliance on Chinese goods and countering Chinese military aggression in the Pacific. But Joseph Clark reports just 3 of Congress's record 238 bills targeting China this year passed both the House and Senate, with most of the legislation languishing in committees. Between 2010 and 2018, lawmakers introduced on average 45 bills per year that contained China or Taiwan as the main legislative subject, as assigned by the Library of Congress. In the last Congress, from 2019 to 2021, lawmakers introduced a total of 379 measures with the same subject terms. Of the measures introduced in the previous Congress, 14 became law. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George for a special subscription offer. President Biden is stocking the federal judiciary with judges at a faster pace than former President Trump as he tries to appease Democrats' progressive base. Dave Boyer reports the Senate has confirmed 40 of the president's judicial nominees this year, including 11 on the powerful federal courts of appeals. In 2017, the Senate confirmed 19 of Trump's judicial nominees, including 12 on the courts of appeals. Biden has nominated 73 judges, one more than Trump in 2017. Among them are 21 former public defenders and 16 former civil rights lawyers. A major difference is that Trump appointed Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch in his first year, while Biden has not yet had a vacancy to fill on the High Court. 83-year-old Justice Stephen Breyer has resisted a campaign by progressives urging him to retire, and Biden's commission to study Supreme Court reforms didn't take a position on adding seats to the bench. And finally, Sunday's Washington football team loss to Dallas may not have been the worst in franchise history, but it's up there. Jacob Calvin-Meyer reports an outpouring of disgust, disappointment, and despair has come out among Washington fans and analysts after a 56-14 beatdown at AT&T Stadium on Sunday Night Football. There was a tinge of hopelessness in the reactions of many, especially those who had bought into the hope that head coach Ron Rivera represented a consequential change in the team's direction. To add insult to injury, defensive linemen Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne got into a scuffle on the sidelines, with Payne getting in Allen's face and poking him, leading Allen to throw a punch at Payne. The 42-point loss to the Cowboys was the 6th worst regular season defeat in Washington history, and the 42 points Dallas scored in the first half were a team record for the Cowboys. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms just by searching Washington Times on your favorite podcast app. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.